First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX and WIBX950.com.
Swimsuit? Check. Sunscreen? Check. Phone charger? Check. Don't forget to pack the 5-Hour Energy. It fits great in a pocket or carry-on, and the alert feeling will help you arrive ready for anything. Now get 20% off when you use code 5HETRAVEL at 5hourenergy.com. Expires April 30th. One-time use only. Not valid with other discounts. Remember, visit 5hourenergy.com and use code 5HETRAVEL to save 20%.
Mike also piped in this morning. He says, who knows what the district is going to look like with Claudia Tenney in the 22nd Congressional District. Who knows what that district's going to look like? Catco might actually be the opponent. That's kind of interesting, and we'll get to that with Anthony Brindisi. If Anthony is running for Supreme Court, will they go through his high school diaries like they did Brett Kavanaugh? Boy, you remember that?
I had beer. I liked beer.
I like beer.
I drink beer.
Former Congressman Anthony Brindisi on the line now. Anthony, good morning. Thanks for coming on.
Good morning, Bill. Good morning, everybody.
Do you like beer?
Do I like beer?
Well, let's get it out there. I mean,
only if it's Saranac.
Saranac is the right answer there. Listen, before we get into your efforts, am I correct in saying that when the new district gets, let's say that with redistricting, that whatever does happen, and let's say the 22nd ends up getting sucked up and redrawn, that won't go into effect until 2024. Is that true?
No, from what the district lines are being redrawn as now. Every 10 years, when you have the census, they have to redraw the district lines. Those will go into effect in 2022.
Okay. Somebody had said no, that doesn't happen. There'll be a 2-year delay before it happens, and I wouldn't understand that. If you're going to be doing it, why not just do it? Because this will all be done before the end of the year, right?
Well,
I believe
it's supposed to.
Yeah.
If you look at what happened previously, the legislature couldn't agree on the district lines, and I believe there was a lawsuit involved. And the lawsuit ended up assigning a judge to draw the district lines, and it went into the year of the election, I believe, almost up until the time of petitioning. So it could go into next year, from what I understand.
You now have made an announcement that you're making a move for state Supreme Court judicial seat.
That's correct. I thought long and hard about this, and when the vacancy occurred in the 5th Judicial District in the Supreme Court, I decided to throw my hat in the ring. I felt with my experience both as a public servant, representing the community on the local, state, and national level, as well as practicing law for over 15 years in civil litigation, primarily in the Supreme Court, handling hundreds of cases there. This is something that I'd be well suited for and be able to use my experience and go back to work for the community here. I think the people know me, they know my character, and really it's the experience, it's integrity, it's independence, and I've been able to exhibit all of those throughout my career as a public servant.
That gets to allow you to spend time with family, is that correct?
Absolutely, yeah. The Supreme Court, our district is the 5th Judicial District, and what a lot of people don't realize is that in New York, unlike other states, the Supreme Court is not the highest state in the court, highest court in the state. New York State Supreme Court is actually a trial court of general jurisdiction. So in upstate New York, the Supreme Court hears primarily civil matters, and then if there are appeals, it would go up to the appellate division, and then ultimately the Court of Appeals, which is the highest court in New York State. So our district, the 5th District, has a vacancy this year, which includes Oneida County, Onondaga County, Oswego, Herkimer, Lewis, and Jefferson counties. So some areas that I've represented in the past through public service, some areas that I have not represented before, but it is an election that will take place this November.
Yeah, and that's a lot of matrimonial stuff as well, right? That can get quite contentious.
Sure, yeah. New York State Supreme Court hears matrimonial matters, personal injury matters, contract, real estate. It's really a court of general jurisdiction, and any case above a certain threshold would go to the trial court, which is the Supreme Court.
You know, I had someone say, the reason Brindisi didn't run is because he knows they're going to redraw the district, the 22nd. So he didn't want to run for that because he'd have to be dealing with Syracuse. But it's almost as if some people believe what the Supreme Court jurisdiction in this 5th district, what this 5th judicial district looks like, might be very close to what the 22nd congressional district ends up looking like.
Well, the 5th district does include Syracuse. It's Utica and Syracuse are the two largest cities in the Supreme Court and the Judicial District. I didn't want to run for Congress again, as I have said, because of the constant back and forth and time away from family. It's just not conducive to where I'm at in life and where my family is in life right now, and I want to be home. And this is an opportunity here for me to continue public service, to continue to serve the community, to take my experiences as both a public servant. You know, a lot of the qualities that you want to see in a good judge, I believe, are qualities that I've learned through my time in public service. You have to be a good listener. You have to be able to solve problems. You need to be respectful to the people, both the lawyers and the litigants that come before the court. And these are all qualities that I've exhibited throughout my time in public service. And you want someone who has the right judicial temperament to be able to hear cases and make decisions on those matters. So I've done that. I've practiced law for over 15 years and have tried cases in Supreme Court. I've helped people. I just had a case actually back in June that I tried in Supreme Court. So I'm very familiar with the court and the issues that come before judges in those courts. So I'll be ready on day one to begin serving the community.
And you don't have to worry about that 6 to 8 month reelection period like you would probably have to do in Congress, because it seems like everybody's announcing that they're running right after the other person wins.
Well, that's an issue with Congress. You know, the 2-year cycle is tough, and that's one of the challenges.
Well, and how are you going to handle this? Not being able to, go out there and be political, because if you become a Supreme Court judge in New York State, judges, the judicial branch is supposed to remain non-political, and you'll not be able to voice your opinion like you do. So, well, I guess you really don't all that often. You won't have to deal with that. The other part is Anthony Brindisi. He was born with a silver spoon. Now he wants to be a Supreme Court justice.
Battling Spectrum like there's nobody else.
Yes, he wants to take away your cable. You will not have to deal with the negative TV commercials, which can't be fun to go through.
Compared to the last few years, Bill, it sounds wonderful.
These are all fluffy. These are like the commercials where there's a disclaimer at the end that goes longer than the commercial. You see children and puppies, and
but there is a good reason behind all that. And if you look at the judicial ethics, judges are not supposed to be political. You want judges to be fair-minded. You want them to be able to base their opinions on the facts or the law. In the case of bench trials, so you don't want judges out there acting political, and I believe in my track record. I have always, when people have reached out to me for constituent reasons or whatever, I've represented all the people. We don't care about politics, and when I was in Congress, when you call, we want to help people and get things done, and I'm looking forward to being able to serve in that capacity. On the court, to be able to help people to make decisions based on the facts and the law, and not worry about politics creeping into it.
Let me ask you, what does that do for someone whose family owns a law firm? You would not be able to participate in the family business, and isn't it the case though that you could make a lot more money being an attorney with damages? The personal attorney, like with the Brindisi law firm, you can make a lot more money doing that than doing this.
Well, I would say that after I lost the race for Congress, after going through a very contentious count and going through actually the Supreme Court for ultimately a decision on that, there were a number of opportunities that presented themselves, but I wanted to do something that I knew I could continue to serve the community. And outside of my family, as I said yesterday, the things that I love the most in life are public service and the law. It's why I went into my time as a state representative and a representative at the national level. It's why I became a lawyer in the first place, because I love the law. And this is a way where I can still continue to serve the community, still handle matters that I'm trained as a lawyer to handle, and give back to the community.
This is
personal injury, by the way, was the title I was trying to come up with.
And speaking of, and kind of along that same line, would you have to be required to recuse yourself if the Brindisi law firm, Brindisi, Murad, Brindisi, Perlman, brought a case before you?
Absolutely. I could not hear any cases that were brought by if I'm elected, former law firm.
Right. Like if your sister was out there, and you're like, okay, now I got you exactly where I want you. You're in my court now.
That could not happen.
Okay. I think
Prove your point, sis.
We're talking about the obvious here a little bit, but the reality is, though, it is more of a it is more of a position of it's a position of public service, which you could go down another road. So that decision is something that I guess would be a family decision for you, one that you had to make when you were running for Congress, because God forbid that's not a place where you're supposed to walk out and make millions.
That's correct. I'm doing this. It's because I like I said, I love the law and I love public service. It's a way to be able to do both and to continue to serve the community, just in a different capacity. And I think I have the right experience for the job.
Okay. Anthony Brindisi, we appreciate the time. A little bit about your opponent. She is the president of the Bar Association. Is that correct?
In Syracuse, yes.
Yes, in Syracuse. But from Utica. Is she from Utica?
Yeah, we actually went to high school together, so I know her quite well. She's a fine person.
So, we've seen a couple of judicial cases where the commercials have gotten a little nasty. You're going to go after her throat here? You're going to go right after her?
No, this is my plan is to talk about my experience and what I bring to the table. That's what I'm running on.
While running for class president, she promised everyone ice cream and didn't deliver.
All right,
what a voiceover you have there.
Interesting stuff. Anthony, thanks for the time. Good luck. It'll be an interesting. This, by the way, this election comes up quickly. This is in November.
That's correct.
Yep.
November 2nd.
Right. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Have a great day. The former Congressman Anthony Brindisi. But you're right. You don't normally see the negative commercials when it comes to these judicial positions. We have seen a couple that have kind of gotten close, right? We've seen a few. If you remember, there was one in particular in our area that seemed a little heated with the commercials back and forth. But you won't see that. My guess is you won't see that here.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right?
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Ooh, pass me the intercom thingy.
Attention shoppers. If you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Don't pay for water. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods.
Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.